Alright, we go. Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic, less known classics. This is episode number 3000, I'm still used to saying 29. 3032, Doubleshot 29, 26. First reviewing Young All-Stars, issues 16 to 31. First, we're starting off with the Danza Inheritance. It's a four-parter that starts issue number 16, wraps up with issue number 19, and then we have a standalone issue, which is 20, and then we have a five-part follow-up to the Access group that was from the first five issues, and the rest is something else. Now, there's a lot of them with Iron Morrow, where in these issues, where he gets a chance to meet up with his father, Hugo Drenner, who denies the fact he's actually his father, until he mentions who his mother is, and then he's like, yeah, you're my son, because apparently he denied the fact he has a son, but apparently he does. But really cool development for him, because prior to this, he had quit the team, Iron Morrow. Yes. And of course, now we have the whole thing with Don's Inheritance. It's less than with World War II. This era, we have Michael Barr and Michael Jones III as the inker. We have this tall woman who's basically like with this shorter guy, and I think she's supposed to be an alien. I think she is. Yeah, that's really interesting. We have Fury just lifting weights, and then we see Iron Morrow basically in a boxing sparring match with, of all people, Wildcat. You know, the boxing heavyweight champion in the world. And we also see Dynamite Kid, Flying Fox, the guy who replaced Batman, even though he died prior to this back in the 70s. And of course, basically, like, Fury just criticizes Wildcat for being too hard on Iron Morrow, so they proceed to knock him out. There's no denying Fury is a very beautiful woman. Oh my gosh, she's so gorgeous. Big disagreement here, and then of course, basically, we have the beautiful. I think she looks like an alien. Yeah, and this whole thing is about this alien stuff. It's almost like the Young All-Stars are kind of like the home team, while the All-Star Squadron is like the veterans, and this is like the brand new rookies. Yeah, and also Tigress. At one point, she looks like she probably dies. At one point in these issues. Oh yeah, and this says the date. This one is May 31st, 1942. So when Also Squadron started, it was in December of 1941. It was actually like the day before Pearl Harbor was attacked. And we mostly have like a backstory of like one character here. I think it's probably Neptune. I think it is. No, it's I think it's Neptune Perkins. Here we go, finally. Yeah, my computer takes a bit of time to move for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's not Tsunami. I don't think it's Tsunami, is it? No, it's not. That's not Tsunami. Where is she in here? Oh yeah, the guy's name is the guy with the beard. Apparently, his name is Arthur Gordon Pym. He apparently goes by alias of Agor. It's like basically like I'm trying to figure out who she is. I know it's not Tigress. I'm not sure who this alien woman is. I think her name is Kayla. Yeah, she's a Dyson. Oh, by the way, Agar is basically one of his aliases is Captain Nemo. Because, of course, Roy Thomas adapted 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea for this one. Yeah, he adapted this character. It's like he likes bringing characters from actual novel into his comic book just cause. Yeah, he's sadly killed off by issue 19 in the end of this thing. It's mostly deal with Neptune Perkins' backstory. That's kind of in a way what this book is. Yeah. It is quite interesting of a story arc here. Now, I know that issue number 20 is a standalone issue. Because 21-25 is a 5-part story arc. Yeah, this one is all about Flying Fox. And the All Squads are here as guest stars, but they're not exactly the main part of the story. It's mostly put developing the character of Flying Fox. That's really the whole point of the character. And after the Inheritance, then we have the Adam and the Evil. This actually is a 3-parter. Yeah, 3-parter. That's starting issue 21 right after issue 23. It is basically, well, the team versus Baron Blitzkrieg. It's a really cool story arc here. And we have the first appearance of a group known as the Young Allies. Yeah, this is DC's equivalent of this group. Nothing to do with basically the Marvel version of the group. This group existed from issue 22, was expanded in issue 29. Yep. Yeah, they only appeared in this one book. They never appeared outside this one book. The Young Allies are just like another type of group similar to Young All-Stars. And they comprise of Squire, Phantasmo, Koi, and Fireball. Squire was, get this, he was a character who debuted in the pages of Batman back in 1962. Yeah, he was the original knight. Now, Phantasmo, who is this guy here, yeah, he's a French character, because of course he is. And this book basically was his debut, and he only appeared in this one book. So you have a Frenchman, an Englishman, Koi, who, looking at him, he must be an alien, but he's actually Chinese. And he himself basically just military basically also look like this. And then we have Fireball, who is a Russian. Yep, she's a Russian. Yep, so we have these fairly new characters, and of course the ones that can find Axis America. You know, the villain group. And they're back here in this book for the first time since issue number 6, and they're back issues. And after this, they disband. Yeah, the Adam Evil story basically is wrapped up in issue 23. Me. Tigress apparently dies, but don't worry, she comes back. Okay, it's actually 5 parts. Like my mistake. It is 5 parts. Yeah, and like I said, by the end of this, the Axis America group pretty much disband. Yeah, it's a massive brawl taking these people. Tigers is brought back. Axis America is disbanded. And then what happens next for the next 6 issues? Well, the team starts falling apart. Tigers quits the team with issue number 26. I think, like, in the very next issue, I think Iron Mara quits the team. Yes. Actually, no, he quits a little later, but yeah, it is mostly put just continuing. We even have guest appearances. We have guests galore in issue number 27. We have the All-Star Squadron, you know, the stars of the previous book. We had the Freedom Fighters, the Justice Society, the 7 Soldiers of Victory, and most of the time, Fly's Skull. Yeah, Fly himself was a character who was enemy of the original Tarantula, which they decided to throw him in here because reasons. And Skull, who is a minor villain who was enemy of the 7 Soldiers of Victory because, well, why not? And then we have basically Sons of Dawn. Yeah, this is the story I was talking with, basically where Iron Morrow meets his father for the first time. This is like, yeah, it's actually his father. He denies it, and this, well, yeah, this is the story basically meets his father first time. Excuse me. The Sons of Dawn itself is a quick. It actually takes up the last 4 issues of this book. Also, Dan the Dynamite, yeah, he's in these issues too. I gotta admit, these issues are a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, yes. And it's kind of weird though, we end with a story involving Iron Morrow. And issues 28 to 30 do not feature any appearances by the Young All-Stars. And then they return for the final issue. And, well, they kind of join the All-Star Squadron. Hugo Danner, the one who is Iron Morrow's father, he dies with the final issue of this book. After making his debut early on in the series. I mean, you look at this guy like, you look at him like, wait, that's his father? Yeah. And he's running some Native American characters. Also, he's Kate Spencer's great-grandfather. Yeah. So, with the Young All-Stars absorbed into All-Star Squadrons, Like, what happens to the team after this? Do they disband? Presumably yes, because they never appear ever again in comics. Except flashbacks. But yeah, that's pretty much Young All-Stars in a nutshell. An excellent book that, to this day, has no trade paperbacks. You're like, I think maybe there was, I don't think it was an omnibus for Millennium. No, I don't think so, no, but it's a damn good book. I love this book. It was amazing. It's a shame the book got canceled after only 35 issues. I wasn't reading this point in time because I was basically a baby when this book ended. But I'm going to give Young All-Stars, issues 26-31, a 10 out of 10. Final thoughts on Young All-Stars. An absolute amazing book that should receive a trade paperback, at least new printing this book, because this book is amazing. I'm sure they probably would collect it, probably have to finish collecting also Squadron if they ever bother to finish collecting the series. I mean, it's not a terrible book per se, but you could say the book has loose connections to the Kate Spencer Manhunter book, because Iron Morrow, practically the star of this book, it's her grandfather. They of course show that in later story arc, so that's Mark Drinking doing that. But good book overall. Next up we have is the Dr. Fate miniseries released in 1987, written by J. Matthias, Keith Giffen, and the artist book is done by actually no, Keith Giffen does the artwork for this book. J. Matthias even continues on with the very next volume for this series. Mostly put, it's basically Dr. Fate's very first volume, which also at the same time they released a miniseries, Martian Manhunter, also by the same people, J. Matthias and Keith Giffen. Mostly put in the first issue, he basically battles some demons, deals with some mental stuff per se. It's basically Dr. Fate trying to survive in the 80s. And it kind of feels like a slow book, but the next couple issues are weird. So, and then of course he goes to visit Arkham Asylum. Yes, in issue 2 he goes to visit Arkham Asylum in this issue to exorcise demons. And because Arkham Asylum, does the Joker appear? Yes, he does. We even see the Tower of Fate, you know, Dr. Fate's home. Yep, we also see his wife apparently is gone, so Ken Knowles is an old man by the 80s. So, and then we go cut to Arkham Asylum, we see the Joker in bed, we see Two-Face. It's basically this guy unleashing demons in Arkham Asylum, and Dr. Fate is called there to deal with these demons. Yeah, these weird creatures. Does Batman show up in this issue? Oh yeah, he does. He does show up in the book later issue. This probably was a book basically where Dr. Fate was basically doing his off time. When he was with the Justice League International, because despite the fact he did kind of start with the book started, he quit like not long into the book. Yep. Yeah, and this issue here has a guest appearance by, which include Martian Manhunter, Batman, and Mr. Miracle. We even have Ronald Reagan appearing in this issue. Yes, Ronald Reagan. And we also see, oh, this is, from what I can tell you, this is probably because they're here in the Mount Justice. Well, basically Sacred Sanctuary. So this is prior to them basically becoming international, because you can tell by the artwork that's basically where they are here. And remember, it's a good bar. Of course, Batman, Martian Manhunter, Mr. Miracle. We have appearance by the Phantom Stranger. Yes, the Phantom Stranger. More investigating stuff here. Yeah, the JLI are basically just background characters in this book. They're there as supporting characters for this third issue. Also, he's become possessed, and it leads into the final issue of this miniseries, where it's like this demon is like connected to Egypt. So basically, he defeats the demon there. Also, I think Isis was gone at this point in time, so So basically, he's missing her, and of course, basically, like, it's implied he dies by the end of the miniseries. But then he comes back. And here he is, as an old man wearing a trench coat. He meets some other person, presumably a woman, and says his last words are, "Call me Kent." And that's the miniseries. Really good. I think DeMatteis basically does an excellent job. This book, Kiko's artwork is really good. I really enjoy this book. But next I'm talking about this book will be Volume 2, which is the longest volume of the entire series of Dr. Fate. But how this is going to work for Dr. Fate, for me review-wise, after Volume 2, it's going to be the Jared, basically the series Fate, and then Book of Fate, do those two books, and then do Volume 3, and then Count on the Mystery, and that'll be it for Dr. Fate. But in the case of Young All-Stars, that's being replaced with the Spectre. And he has only got to worry about Volume 2, the rest of Volume 3, because I read part of it already, Volume 4, Volume 5, and I think like one anthology miniseries, I think like Tales Unexpected, and I think it's like one book after that. I think that's it. There's a good amount of books for the Spectre. Just as much as Dr. Fate. But here's a weird fun fact about the JS members. Is it weird, though, that of the founder members of the JSA, the only members who actually had ongoing series were Hawkman, the Sandman, Dr. Fate, and the Spectre. They're the only ones. I mean, Al Pritt never had one. He never had a miniseries. He had a feature and an anthology book. He's never had an actual series. Alan Scott has had an ongoing, kind of in a way, but not in like recent times per se. He had like, well, you could say Alan Scott definitely had one. Jay Garrick has had one, but the only thing I think of never had an actual series for themselves, what has their name in the title, has been Al Pritt. Johnny Thunder's never had one. What about Iron Man? He had a series. Yes, he did, except it wasn't any of the first two Iron Man. It was the android from 1 million BC stuff. The 1 million, the 1 million book. Yeah, he's from that timeline. So he's always actually had an actual ongoing series of the 3 Iron Men. You want to know what one who has never had one? Wildcat. He's had a couple team-up miniseries, but he's never had an actual series of his own. And I was like, really? Well, he did have a feature in Sensation Comics, and he had a feature in JSA Classified, but he's never had an actual book for himself. Maybe because of the interest of a character, presumably. Mr. Terrific has. The second one did. He had a short-lived book. But I want to think of one character who should get one. It's Johnny Thunder. I'm sure he could have a good book. Who knows? I like his Dr. Figure in that one. But of course, Kent Nelson's no longer running comics because he died. Now he's basically having one of his great nephews basically be Dr. Fate. Yep. But yeah, this particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the like button. Well, it's late, so I will see you all tomorrow for more Sentai and at least one more comic corner ready to go. Okay, let's go. Bye.